I feel like I wasted so much time. I feel like I wasted like so much time. You know, like hurting and not getting like what I needed because I didn't know what I needed. And it's like, where are we going now? I was at this get together, you know what I'm saying? And you know, one of the things that happened is I was with this individual that just does not believe in personal boundaries. And I chopped it up to like, sometimes we all have these people, you know what I'm saying? Where like, we're just like, they're just, we do this to ourselves, I feel like, and we do this for other people where we go, oh, that's just so and so, they just like that, you know what I'm saying? And it's very easy when you kind of like rationalize certain things to not take the gravity of what actually happened. And for me, it was hard because like I've been kind of dealing with this individual for a couple of years. I've even made music with this individual. Like I've collabed on a song with this individual before, you know what I'm saying? So I had like that sense of like respect, you know what I'm saying? I had that sense of like relational equity / respect with this person. It was just this thing about this person. I was like, I could really do without that. I could really do without like this way that like, you carry yourself. I could really do without like this need to like do certain things and talk a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I could really do without that. I just did not. If you ever had like the people in your life, you can go, I could deal with this, but not deal with that. I could deal with this, but I could not deal with that. With everything that I've been through, it's very easy to just be like, you gotta take the good with the bad with certain things, and it was really aggravating. It was really aggravating because, I let a lot of things slide, and I dissolved a lot of things within my boundaries. I guess like in the sake of like just making sure other people felt comfortable, not conveniencing other people. This individual, just kept pushing my boundaries. Kept like giving me hugs when I didn't want to get hugs. Kept trying to like grab on me when I didn't want to like be touched. And for those that know my testimony, I've faced I faced years of sexual abuse. I've even been assaulted before, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't really do well with touching. I don't do well with suddenness. I don't do well when people kind of just like come in my orbit. I don't do well when people come in my orbit and just like feel compelled to just kind of just invade my privacy, my personhood. You know what I'm saying? And and for me, in my rationale, I'm thinking like, you might just be being a little sensitive. You might just be, Cass, you might just be grumpy. Cass, you might just be, snappy for no reason. I don't think that's really fair. And I think you kind of need to just relax. I think you need to just not be so dramatic. I need you to not be so, you know what I'm saying? However, I'm in this season, especially after 2020, bro. I was just in this season where I'm like, if it's not good enough for me, it's not good enough for me. And I don't like it, and I don't have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm still at this get together, and like the comments at this point, the very, very explicit comments are just they're going too far. They're far enough, and they're going too far. You know what I'm saying? The touching, I didn't welcome it, so therefore it's too far. You know what I'm saying? The continued comments, and I'm just feeling really, really uncomfortable and on edge, is too far. You know what I'm saying? And I just chopped it up to, at this time, like, I was like, okay, this kid's just kind of annoying. Unfortunately, I feel like this is their personality. You know what I'm saying? It was more than that for me. It was more than that for me, because like, this is happening in the midst of people. Like, we're about to cut cake. There's kitties around and everything. And I'm just kind of looking at it as, let me try to leave the space as dignified as possible. I'm even trying to like laugh it off. I'm trying to not really, not really trying to cause any trouble. You know what I'm saying? And I just ended up leaving. I kind of just ended up leaving. Kind of just tried to shrug it off. I did, I'm gonna be honest with you. I went home this very day, and I just tried to shrug it off. You know what I'm saying? And I end up calling my partner at the time, and I was talking to them, and I was like, just letting them know, hey, this happened. My partner knows my testimony, obviously. I end up letting them know what had happened, and they were like, oh, you okay? And even to some degree, like, I'm being honest, like, I was annoyed, but I was fine. Fine-ish, meaning like I was alive, so that was good enough for me. And I shrugged it off. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm good. This happened around like maybe 2:00 in the afternoon, and I put the effort into other things to distract myself. Once like 2:00 came, I was super anxious. And I could not sleep. And I was just like very restless, and I could not sleep at all. I was just on edge. I was so angry, you know what I'm saying? I was like, why this ish have to happen? You know what I'm saying? I was pissed off, dog. And I remember calling my partner. It was like 2:00 in the morning. And it was 2:00 in the morning, and I was just like, yo, I cannot sleep, and I'm sorry it's late, but I just can't sleep. Do you mind like talking to me on the phone? And I've noticed like every day since then, you know what I'm saying? Every day since then, I had been not myself. It was getting to the point like it was causing issues in like all my relationships, romantic and platonic. It was causing relationships. I'm mean as hell. I'm mean as hell. I'm not laughing at it to say like, for those that know me, I'm not laughing it off. I just recognize it like I'm mean as hell during this time. And I felt myself just being really hopeless, and things that didn't really hurt as much before hurt like 100 times more then. When things would make me mad, they made me really mad. If I like reacted, if something I had to respond to, I would overreact to it. And it'd be like almost an overcorrection. You know what I'm saying? Where if something was a little bit wrong, it was a lot of wrong, and it was a lot of like, I was like, God, I'm so angry. Like, I'm just angry as hell. You know what I'm saying? And like, I just recently had this conversation with one of my, I'll call him my mentor, you know what I'm saying? I'll call him my mentor. I'll call him like a brother in Christ. And he was telling me how, you know, like, you know, for you to be able to step into this new season in your life, you have to kind of relinquish the things that you want God to like excel, the things that even you want to do. If you want God to use it, you gotta let it go. Meaning like, and I did that with a lot of things. I've had to do it with my creativity. Y'all see me now. I mean, we got 10 podcasts in. We're 10 podcasts in the last like 15 to 16 days. That's a lot considering I haven't really been here. I've had like, but if I've had 10 podcasts in the last 16 days, and like the last 4 to 5 months, I've probably had 8 to 6 podcasts. That's good for me. You know what I'm saying? And in this time of just deep reflection, woke up yesterday and, you know, got out of bed and, had to recognize like this encounter I had with this individual. It still it still had a lingering effect. And I was still wondering, like, why am I thinking about this now? It is 10 months, you know? I'm like, it is 10 months, you know? I'm basically, like, gaslighting myself, essentially. I'm like, it's been 10 months. Why are you still annoyed about this? It's been X amount of time. Why are you still mad about this? It's been so long, you know, since this happened. Why are you still mad about this? Get over it. It's been forever now. Has it been though? Has it though? About pain? Has it been so long since you got the scar? If the person that inflicted the scar did not really take responsibility? Is it really been that long? Has it really been forever ago when it feels like every day you're reliving that moment? It's every day, you know what I'm saying? It's like every day. It's like every conversation. It's like every inconvenience. The weird thing about like trauma is like a spider web, bruh. Like you will end up like a spider web catches a lot of things you ain't expect to catch, man. The sole purpose of the trauma of a spider web is to catch bugs. It's the spider's web, but you end up getting some leaves. You end up getting like a stamp from the mail. You end up getting some shit you ain't asked for. You know what I'm saying? And like life, you end up catching some things end up coming in your direction, gravitating towards you that you ain't asked for, and it ends up effing up everything. The things that end up coming in orbit of your web or your life can end up destroying the very thing that you intended for life to have. And like I had to recognize that, and it was hard for me. For those that know, I had an interview about 2 weeks ago with Pastor Rob. Shout out to Pastor Rob, you know what I'm saying? I recognize that in my healing, in this me getting up and taking my mat up, this never would have been possible. And you know, I say, you know, thank you, my brother, if you're watching this now, thank you for engaging me while I'm in this season of my healing and kind of making this possible with this, I guess, this eye-opening for me. And you know, I brought this situation with this individual up with somebody, with the hosts of the house that this happened, and kind of brushed it off. Like they were just like, well, you know, I'm happy that things did not escalate. And you know, that sounded good to me at one point, when I first had this conversation like 10 months ago. And then I ran it by my partner, and then my partner was like, but well, things did escalate because you did not sleep. The escalation was the fact that you lost your peace. That is the escalation. And I'm like, well, I didn't, but I could have really, like, I could have hurt yo. I could have really wrecked yo. He really could have caught the fade. Sometimes, like, we feel like when those that are, like, go through things that go through, like, events in life, that it's very, very easy to look at your response to things as the escalation. But absolutely, come on now. It left a really bad taste in my mouth. I explained to this individual, like, my trauma. I've explained to this individual, and this individual knew about my trauma. The individual that did the offense, the annoying, the grabbing, the talking, the inappropriate comments and stuff, they didn't know my trauma, but they didn't have to. I laid a boundary down. No is a complete sentence, period. The host that I talked to about this, they kind of shrugged it off. Not kind of, they did. It was heartbreaking for me. At least I didn't really look at it as heartbreak. I just looked at it as an inconvenience. What's more inconvenient than heartbreak? What's more inconvenient than bastardized justice? What's more inconvenient than injustice? You know what I'm saying? What's more inconvenient than the fact that like I was sexually assaulted? What's more inconvenient than the offense? I just kept minimizing it. I just kept, I kept, like, belittling myself and belittling, like, my pain. I kept minimizing it, and for what? Oh, well, I chose to underreact because I was too worried about overreacting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, I got a pat on the back. I got a pat on the back for not kirking out in a situation where it was like I was being violated. And the only reason that my body was so much more intolerant to it this time, even though I've had this nature of a relationship with this individual for years, is because like I said, when God calls you into higher things in a new season in your life, some things you just don't tolerate anymore. Things will just break off of you that you were not supposed to be tolerant of before. You were not supposed to be groomed to be okay with abuse. Just because the Bible says turn the other cheek don't mean you're not allowed to block the initial blow. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like, let's not, and that's not trying to, like, this isn't me trying to, like, victim blame. This isn't me going like, yo, you need to like, adapt a bit of boldness to, like, people being bigoted to you and abusive to you. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, yo, worry about that dignity later. You know what I'm saying? Like, and anybody else pushing that gospel, absolutely not. Give me dangerous liberation over peaceful bondage any day. Just because it seemed easier than fighting it off. And by you, I mean me. Like, it's frustrating because like this happens too often, especially within, like, the church, P. This happens way too often where we're worried about keeping the peace instead of being a people of the peace. Meaning, like, I ain't got, you say that, there's no peace in trauma. And what happened at the expense of it? Like, I'm lost so much time. I've lost so much time in my sorrow, where I'm like, it's hard to get out of bed most days. It's hard to want to do anything that makes me smile, because the last time I tried to go out of my way to do something that made me smile, I was assaulted. And I shouldn't feel guilty trying to live my life because people don't want to keep me safe while I'm trying to. Oftentimes for me, especially like in my trauma, if I wasn't a 6'3" black man, the response to what had happened to me and how I would have been received would have been vastly different. It's just a fact. Regardless if the assailant was another, if the abuser was another man, and we're just playing and you're just joking and it's just all jokes and you're overreacting, Who the hell gets to decide that for me? Who gets to tell me that? But if I was a little white girl with blue eyes, it would have been what we call it, assault. And like I spoke that so many times over myself in my life as a child, dealing with abuse and these encounters with people, these very inappropriate encounters, and because I heard it from other people that were supposed to be loving me and taking care of me, and those, like, I'm talking like school counselors that I would bring this by, and their responses were just well, you know, I'm happy. Oh man, you could have handled that a little better. And we talk more about my response to the bigotry more than the bigotry than itself. I shouldn't have to be disciplined. I shouldn't have to be dignified and disciplined while dealing with abuse. And especially should not have to do that when dealing with people that proclaim the same Jesus that I proclaim. At least I thought we did, because my God my God is a God of justice. You know what I'm saying? My God is a God of action. Jesus cares about my spirit and my soul and my salvation, but he cares about my body too. And he's not gonna joke around with it and just minimize it for me. Sometimes when we go through like the things that we go through as people in general, like our brain will try to hide the truth from us because the truth is so devastating. Truth is so devastating that our brain will try to hide this from us to protect us to some degree. But it did more hindrance to my healing and more hurt. Because then I end up bleeding on people that didn't cut me. When this happened, I wasn't even a month into my new relationship at the time. I wasn't even a month in. Some of the new people God added into my life, romantically and platonically, professionally, I bled all over all these people. They ain't cut me, but I bled over all these new people that God was adding into my life, because I didn't know the realness that what was before me, and I was tapping into the anger, the outrage that I felt. But anger is never the primary emotion. It was just sadness. Where do we go from here? And you know, the answer is simple. It's forward. And that's hard. That is hard as hell, yo. It is. Cause now, I feel like I wasted so much time. I feel like I wasted like so much time. You know, like hurting and not getting like what I needed because I didn't know what I needed. And it's like, where are we going now?